that the current inside that is anyway 0. So that is visible that there won't be any current at that point. So I is equals to, and that's why B will also be equal to 0. So that is at B1. Now in second one, at B2, we have already seen, so B2 is point somewhere over here, right? And inside you can see that all the currents are going in same direction. So all these currents get added up. So here the total current is not 0. So that's why there is a resultant magnetic field, and that magnetic field B was equals to mu naught into N into I. That was a point inside the body of the toroid.
Okay, sir.
Right? So that is that point. And outside, suppose if your point is B3, so there what we see, that at B the current is going downwards, but at A it is coming upwards. So if you consider that loop, all the currents will actually get cancelled by the same wire which is coming up and going down in the loop.
So same as first case, right?
In the first case there was no current. The current itself was 0. But in the second case and the third case, that is at B3, what happened is that currents got cancelled. And because they got cancelled, so that's why I is 0. That's why B is also 0. So in both the case, whether it is solenoid or toroid, so this becomes simple for us. So whether it is, if I want to give you a summary or gist of this, so it is straightforward that whether you take it as a solenoid or whether you are considering solenoid or toroid, in both the cases, magnetic field outside the body is equals to 0. And it is only inside the body that you will get some magnetic field, and that will be equals to mu naught into N into I, where N is number of turns per unit length, that is the wire density. So what we observe here is that it is independent of many things. It is independent of the length. It doesn't depend on length. It depends on the density. It doesn't depend on the area. It does not depend on how big your solenoid is or how small your solenoid is or toroid is. This radius, if you can see, there is no radius term inside here, right? But situation becomes tricky, or question can be made tricky when they say the wire with which you have to make that solenoid or toroid is fixed. Suppose that is just 1 meter. And now you have to wound that wire on a solenoid of 5 meter length or 10 meter length. So obviously if the length is more, but the given wire is fixed length, so now what will happen? That number of turns per unit length may change. So you have to take care of that it is independent of length, it is independent of thickness, it is independent of the surface area, or sorry, the cross section area. But still situation or question can have some tricky situations in which you will have to consider, or you will have to make sure that number of turns per unit length doesn't change.
But the N value here itself is number of turns by length, right? So how can we take it as independent of length?
It is like this. Say your body mass index, BMI.
Yeah.
So it depends on length. But if I give you 2% whose BMI is double of other, so you won't ask the length. Now you understood that one is double of other. If BMI is double, so that means one will be heavier than the other. Not absolute weight, but weight per unit length.
Okay, so you take it as a ratio constant.
It's like density. Density is mass per unit volume. So density gives you a different sense. And if something depends on density, right? So it depends on density. It doesn't, its formula has length, its formula has width, its formula has height, but because it has volume, so volume has both length, breadth and height. So yes,
Yeah.
it has, the formula has LBH, but if the thing depends on density only, then those LBH doesn't matter. Right? So
Yeah.
that's what is and that's what is this all about. That is your two apparatus here, very important apparatus, that is your solenoid and toroid.
Sir,
Yes,
so can you teach solenoid again?
solenoid is, yeah, we can do it. Just wait.
I mean, I want to know how to draw the ampere loop for that.
Okay.
Rest I can do, just the ampere loop.
Have you gone through the video which I have shared?
You didn't, right?
I did, I guess, or maybe I didn't. I'll just check. I'll do one thing. I'll send that video to you, and let me check if I have already sent it or not. No, I haven't sent it. Okay, so I'll send it today. Go through that. If you
Yeah.
don't understand, I'll send you the videos of this entire series on electromagnetic, the magnetic effect of current. And if there is some problem, you can let me know, then we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, anything
Yes,
else?
yes.
So
No, just it was a video.
okay, so what we have seen till now in this chapter is that there is a magnetic effect of current. So magnetic field due to current we have seen. So if there is a current carrying conductor, there will be a magnetic field around it. So that's what we have seen. So there is current in this, there will be magnetic field like this. Two things which we have seen. If the current carrying conductor is straight, then the magnetic field will be round or circular. And if the current carrying conductor is, sorry, the current carrying conductor is circular, then the magnetic field will be straight. So this we have seen, and we have also seen the rule, that is the right hand thumb rule, which we apply to get this. Now, so this makes us, or this gives us an idea that current carrying conductor behaves as a magnet. Correct? Now, a magnet gets attracted and repelled by a magnet. Right? So if there is a magnet, there is another magnet. So now in this case, they will be repelled. And if it is north and south approaching each other, then this will be attracting. So here they'll attract, here they'll repel. This we know. Basically what I want to say is that around a magnet there is a field, just like around a charge there is a field called electric field. So around a magnet there is a field called magnetic field. So this is that magnetic field, the region in which another magnet, if it comes, it experiences a force, and that force can be repulsive or attractive. This is called magnetic field of a magnet. Now what we say, that a wire carrying current is also a magnet. So if a wire carrying current is a magnet, so when that wire carrying current enters a magnetic field, that should also experience a force. So that is the second thing which we are going to see in the next class. That is force on a current carrying conductor.
We had the same thing in 10th grade, right?
What?
We had the same kind of thing in 10th grade. We did some experiment and all.
Correct, huh?
Yeah.
So remember the two things. These two things are different but related. First, magnetic field due to a current or due to current. And if from there what we concluded, that a current carrying conductor will behave like a magnet. We have already seen that this solenoid, if current is flowing in this in such a way, then this behaves as a bar magnet. This we have already seen, right? We have already seen that if there is a circular coil like this and current is flowing like this, then this side will behave as north pole and the side on the back will behave as south pole. So these things which we have are things which we have already seen. That is, a current carrying conductor behaves like a magnet. So if that magnet comes into a magnetic field, should experience a force due to that magnetic field. That is what we are going to see next. That is force on a current carrying conductor. So we'll see this in the next class, and I think that will be okay. We can you can see in that schedule when will be that next class. So we'll continue with that and we'll try to finish that in the next class. And after doing that, we'll solve some problems or numericals on these two topics, both these topics, first and the second.
Yes,
Clear?
sir.